Suppose if you came across a dreadful or a situation that's filled with misery, what do you think? You obviously want to do something, you want to change the situation, right? And if you had a chance to make that situation better, what would you choose? So we would definitely make a choice that makes the situation better. But what choice we need to make? What is the right choice to make? Let us know on today's episode. Hello viewers, Pranam. Welcome to DVM English and welcome back to Immortal Talks. We're on episode 3, and in the past episode that we got to know Baba has went to meet his ancestors, but he met the guru of all his ancestors. So he couldn't feel his body anymore. He forgot everything. But when Suchita, Vichita and Chitta has climbed up the cliff, he finally recollected the purpose of visiting the ancestors' cliff. So they now had a conflict. Who is the mother of Chitta? Suchita or Vichita? Now he came back to his senses when Suchita, Vichita and Chitta, 3 of them has reached the cliff and they protested. They bowed before Lord Hanuma. So Baba started explaining the conflict that happened in their community. He started explaining to Lord Hanuma, and they call Lord Hanuma as Deva. So he started explaining, Deva, so there is a conflict and we couldn't understand who is the mother of Chitta. He welcomed Hanuma. He forgot everything. He forgot that he is the leader of the community. He is nothing before Lord Hanuma. He no more holds the responsibility of being the leader, because the leader of the leaders has been arrived. So he welcomed, welcome to the land of mortals, Hanuma. Then Lord Hanuma said, I think you had come to me, so it must be me who should welcome you. So Baba was sorry for his ignorance, and he now wanted the solution for the Chitta's problem. So Hanuma, or now from now, let's call him Deva. So Deva looked at Chitta's face and said, Chitta is happy, isn't he? He's happy in his mother's arm. So what's the problem? Then Baba said, but Chitta is a small kid. He doesn't know anything. What if he has been drawn by Vichita? She might have done some black magic. There can be possibilities. We can't say anything. Then Deva said, it's Chitta's choice to make. He's choose Vichita. But Baba still argued. He's a kid, Deva. How can he make a choice? Then Hanuma, he lifted up his tail saying, see how small my tail appears. But using this tail, you all have climbed up the rock. Don't underestimate if it appears small. So Baba realized his ignorance. I mean, Deva, I know he might be a kid by age, but is no younger than anyone in this cliff. He might have taken many lives. So his soul age might be same as ours or can be older than ours. He's an older soul. That's the reason he can see you. No ignorant can see Lord Hanuma even if he is standing in front of us, if your soul is ignorant. So this soul of Chitta, it's an older soul. But now he's a kid. How can he make a choice? So Deva, before Deva could explain something, seeing the movements of the tail of Lord Hanuma, Chitta started giggling. So everyone's attention was drawn to Chitta. In few moments, it felt like everyone over there started understanding the language of a baby. So the giggles of Chitta turned into distant words. Now they could understand what Chitta is speaking. So now Chitta has started narrating the story of his past life. So he started telling, I was a monk. So now let's hear the past life story of Chitta. So in his past life, he was a monk. So he went in search of the divinity of God. He wanted to attain moksha. He's a very old sage who did sadhana for many years. In fact, he did sadhana for many lives. So as a monk, he usually forget the world. But one day, he had a very immense thirst that brought him back to his senses. That day, it was a very hot summer day, and this monk was walking with barefoot near the desert area. So he was very thirsty, and he could find few fields near the place he's walking. So he just trying to find some water, and he had two options. The first one, he could go to the fields and go in search of water, because farmers have installed some water system there for the irrigation of the fields. But what if the monk fell there itself due to that thirst? His body was dehydrated. So the other option is to go in search of a nearby village. Even if he fell down, someone would wake him up and quench his thirst. So he felt the second option was better, and he went in search of a village. And at the beginning of a village, there was a small hut just made of mud, and there the roof is made of grass, and there is a small tree in front of it, and a child was sitting underneath it. So he asked the boy that he was thirsty and to bring him some water. And the boy went inside the home, and along with the boy, the monk followed. He was so thirsty that he went inside the house, and he tried to adjust to the darkness inside it. As he entered the house, he started hearing a painful groan of a woman, and she looks lifeless. She was so fragile and weak, and she was lying on a bed. She don't know that even a man entered. She wasn't in her senses, or she couldn't even respond. Seeing that painful situation, or seeing the suffering that the woman is going through, he looked with an inquiring face towards the small kid. He came back with water, and this monk asked, "What happened to your mother?" And this kid couldn't explain anything. He was trying to get a clue of what's happening there. He saw everything inside the house, and in the corner of the house, he saw the picture of Lord Hanuman. Unless that, he couldn't get anything, any clue of what's happening inside that house. Why did that woman lay down? Why is she suffering? What's happening with her? And the boy couldn't answer anything. He asked a very easier question to the boy, where his father is. Before the boy could answer, two men entered the room. The one who went to the mother. So he's the husband of the woman, and another man followed him. So the monk supposed he's the doctor. So he went towards the woman and he gave her some injections. And the monk started inquiring this kid's father. What happened to that woman? So the man answered that it's a uncurable disease. She had been suffering and she's on her deathbed. Now the monk was surprised, and he also fell into that misery. He was so saddened. Why would a poor family should suffer like this? So he inquired the doctor. No disease is incurable. There might be some way. You just take her to some other doctor, the monk suggested. But the doctor responded that she is suffering from cancer and she's in her last stages. It was an advanced stage and she's on her deathbed, and the doctor is injecting the painkillers to ease her pain. No doctor could cure her disease. So helplessly, the monk came out of the hut and he saw the son sitting outside under the tree. So he started to strike up a conversation with the boy. So he went to him. So there was compassion flowing out of him. There was so much love and compassion, and he was so sorry for that poor family. At the same time, he was helpless. He couldn't do anything. So he went to the boy. He was trying to notice everything. And there was a burnt mark on the hand of this boy. So to ease the situation, he asked, how did that burnt happen? So when you are playing with firecrackers? Then the boy answered, no, while I was cooking, I had this burnt mark. I had burned my hand. So now there is an outburst of compassion and his emotions overflowed. He couldn't control it anymore. So he got angry and there was an emotional outburst and he was about to cry. So he just left the place and he started walking from the area. As he was dehydrated, he just fell unconscious on the ground. So when he woke up, he saw a woman feeding him water. And that woman is no one but the one he saw on the deathbed before he gone unconscious. He was surprised to see the same unhealthy woman who was suffering from cancer is now so healthy. And there is this man, her husband, was also helping him lift his head. So both were there. He was so shocked and surprised. Is it a dream? What I saw before? Or is this a dream? What I am seeing now? What is dream? What is reality? What's happening here? The monk couldn't understand anything. So he asked, I saw your wife. He tried to explain the things that has happened before. He tried to explain that he saw this woman on her deathbed. Then the woman explained, when we work nearby, we come back for lunch. So when we are coming back for lunch from work, we saw you falling on the ground unconscious. So we made you sleep under this tree. So what are you talking? Even they cannot understand the words of this monk. So there was a lot of paradox and confusion. He even tried to explain that he has come to his house. Then he asked his son for the water. And then he saw this lady on deathbed. He tried to explain every situation. Then the couple realized, how do you know that we have a son? Then they called the son and he came out running from the hut. Even the son did not recognize this monk. So they couldn't understand. After a lot of confusion, he tried to explain things, what he saw inside the house. So this woman, she suddenly fell at the knees of this monk and asked his son and her husband to do the same and requesting, so please don't talk like this. So earlier they used to think that the sages or monks, whatever they are saying, they hold the power to know the past, future and the present. So the woman is thinking that this monk has seen the future and they don't want such a misery in their lives. So the woman is so frightened and afraid that this might come true and she started crying. The whole situation went out of control. Everyone was saddened. So the monk, he couldn't understand anything. He couldn't clearly say what is the reality. So he started leaving the place and he started walking. As he go by, so there is a banyan tree and the cool breeze and a pond near it. For the cool breeze, he went into a meditative sleep. There, he saw two tunnels. He saw a landscape where there were two tunnels. One is with green light and the other with red light. These two tunnels. So he understood that he needs to enter one of those tunnels and come out of it to wake up in reality. And he understood that he's in a dream world. But he doesn't know what these tunnels are. He was confused. Then a voice echoed from behind. The voice says to choose one of those tunnels. So when he entered the red tunnel, it consists of white screen that shows the visuals of situations or circumstances. So as he entered the red tunnel, there was a visual playing on the white screen that shows a monk walking on the lane with trust. So the monk is no one but this man. So it's nothing but, it's no one but him. Then he understood that the visuals that were playing was his own story. So he could see every story there. So, why this monk has landed in a dream world? And why a green tunnel and a red tunnel appeared before him? What is going to happen to this monk? Why he could see his own story on the white walls? And what do they suggest? And how to get this monk back to reality? So, what happens next? We'll see in the next episode. Until then, keep watching DVM English. Signing off, Deepthi.